Hello there, and welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ngani Titan. We're here on Lakeville, and I'm in the IS, the Tier 7 Soviet Heavy Tank. We're top tier. Long-term viewers may be aware that I've done the odd episode of a tactics series where I look a little bit more in depth in the tactical situation on a map, and this one has given me reason to sort of look at Lakeville in a little more depth. If you go to the forums, the theory on Lakeville is very simple. The heavy tanks proceed into the town, supported by the medium tanks. They spread out, they disperse, they hit the enemy really hard, they drive right through, out the other side and exploit into the cap circle. So the valley is defended at the base by tank destroyers, probably no more than a few, and the edge of the ridgeline is scouted by light tank or a medium tank or whatever is available, and some scouts can go down the track along the lake. So much for the theory. In almost 3 years of playing this game, I have never seen it happen. And incidentally, if you're in the north spawn, the theory is just symmetrically the opposite. But the focus of the coup de man should be the town. Now, if we pause the action for a moment and zoom into the minimap, we'll notice that in the valley we have about 5 tanks. We have another 4 tanks in the base area, and there are 6 tanks east of the base. One of those is camping the southern end of the lake. Arguably the tank destroyer in the easternmost tank destroyer in the base area is probably in a legitimate position as well. Not many tanks heading for the town, although that cluster of tanks behind me look like they're actually heading for the town. Now, I've been picked up, I've been spotted. There's somebody in the lakeside. An enemy heavy tank. I know experimental, I mean, could he not pick the smaller tank, is actually halfway up the side of the lake. And I've been shot at by something with a fairly high velocity gun. That shell came in fairly flat from somewhere further south along the lake edge, so I'm kind of pulling up here. Now, thing is, if you're in the town on your own, you're likely to get ambushed by superior numbers, so it's quite dangerous. Now, the tank on my right has picked up an enemy medium tank, so I thought maybe I can peek around the corner and take a shot at it and distract that medium tank, and before I've come, he spotted a second one. Now I've spotted a third tank. So I get rid of him, and there are 3 enemy tanks in the town. There are 2 of us. Now there's another guy got been turning up the edge of the town. So there are 3 enemy tanks in the town versus 2 tanks. But there's at least a third tank coming in. And I think I have the advantage on this guy. So neither team has actually committed a very heavy force to the town. Now, it looks like there's maybe 3 or 4 tanks in the valley on the enemy side. And I think the most you ever see is actually 4 tanks spotted at any given point in time. But we've managed to clean out the town. There was roughly the same number of enemy tanks. That T-67 is managed to survive intact through all of this, despite being the lowest tier tank there, and is now making a run for it as fast as he can. The other interesting thing is that with 4 enemy tanks in the town, well, they didn't arrive all at once. I suppose 3 of them arrived together, but we were able to take the advantage of the situation here. This Tiger's hung around long after the position became viable. He should have left as soon as the tanks in front of him were killed. So we finish him off, because he's isolated as well. So the rest of the tanks coming through have caught up with the tank destroyer. So we're just over 3.5 minutes into the game. 2 more enemy tanks have been identified this side of the town. So there's a light tank that's never been spotted as far as I know. So that means that of the, 7 enemy tanks remaining, at most 6 of them went the valley. Therefore, 6 tanks in the valley beat 8 tanks. Because we had 5 there originally, 2 that were in the cap circle went up and supported them, and that remaining tank that's down there was in a position to fire at enemy tanks that were crossing over the ridgeline. So therefore there was at least 8 tanks defending the valley on our side. And they failed to stop the enemy from breaking through. The enemy are through now in the valley, and actually the light tank has turned up in the cap circle. However, we've won the game. And the reason we've won the game is that we've 3 tanks heading for the cap circle. If they go in and cap, they'll have capped before any tank in the valley will now make it back down to stop them. This is because the valley is a swamp, and because it's a swamp it'll slow your tank down, so it will take them actually too long to drive down with 3 tanks capping. I'm going to go up just in case somebody decides to leave the cap circle. There's no point in having more than 3 tanks in the cap circle. 3 is the maximum they can generate cap points. If the enemy take our cap circle and somebody left the cap circle, then they might have a chance, but they haven't even taken the cap circle. They haven't managed to clear out the heavy tank. So I think this is proof that the conventional wisdom is correct, but the thing is that if you play Lakeville, it will almost never happen. So therefore you have to adapt your tactics in Lakeville, I'm afraid, to the conditions as you find them. Which is that the minority of tanks will go to the town, and they will not arrive en masse. They'll arrive in dribs and drabs. So you've got to make sure that when you go into the town, you have friends with you. And the battle is won by the people who arrive with the most friends together. Or you just stay outside. I did pretty well in this battle. Came number 1 by experience. 5 kills. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.